I hate it.
I'll do like a dumbbell deadlift or something just a little bit on one of the days, just to do a little bit more like the back and
Yep.
like, quads and stuff. But I'm just pumping out the upper body right now. Get them beach muscles.
Ooh, yeah, a little late. Well, actually, not really. Not North Carolina.
I
Hey,
can go to
what's
I can go to the
going
beach for two
on?
months.
It is. Oh, this is live before lock. This is not the strategy show. This is live
No,
before
it's not.
lock. Happy to have you guys with us. Welcome to Live Before Lock, MLB. Um, man, I did an NFL show yesterday and it was awesome. I know you don't care, but I tell you what, like that feeling you get on your first basketball show or like your NBA preview shows that you might do a while
Yeah.
out. Like we did the first look strategy show, just going over the salaries and everything and the positions and the stacks. Greg Ehrenberg and myself. God, it
You have
was
some fun.
it felt great to be back. Yeah, you kidding me? It's fun, man. It's fun to talk about. Check that out if you guys haven't yet. You know where to find it over on the channel. Also streamed it live on my own account from Twitter yesterday. Went live from
Oh,
my account. I was going to
okay.
recommend you try that for the Odd Shopper show. Actually, see if there's any differences.
Not a bad idea.
All you got
Test
to
that out
do
in
is
the
go in
future.
the restream and authenticate your own Twitter account.
Can handle that. That's a good idea.
Oh, Josh, that's
I
true.
do.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, hey guys, how you doing? We had two games rained out yesterday. One of them was early. Yankees game, we talked about that. That was very likely going to be rained out. It was. They're
Yeah.
playing two today. I had a hockey game at 9:40 and like I left at 8:30, pouring. My dumbass wore slides walking through the parking lot, step in a pothole. I wear slides to hockey in the winter, in the summer, in the rain, in the snow. It doesn't matter. I just do.
Yeah.
You slip them on after a game, your feet are nasty. So I played hockey with like one super wet sock. But here we are. How was your
That's
morning,
fun.
man?
I had an interesting morning. I've had an interesting morning the past 2 days, honestly. It's been an interesting ride these past 2 days. Yesterday, before we're about to start the show, I eat a banana. I don't feel very good. And I toss that banana. And I don't mean with my hands into the garbage, I mean with my mouth into the toilet. So that was an interesting start to the day. So then I sit down today. Let's see, that was the show starting at 12. It's probably around 11. I just gotten back from a walk. I went and grabbed a shower, sat down. I was doing my prep, loading up my stuff. Wanted to let out a nice little fart. I was very mistaken that it was a fart. It was everything except air. And I had to shower myself off again after that. So I equated it to you prior to the show. Like I shook up a can of shit and put it in my pants and then opened it.
the, the, were your shorts okay?
No, they're gone too. It went straight through everything.
I've always
I got a little
wondered that.
nervous that it went through everything because this chair is mesh.
What? Yeah, you'd have to throw the chair out, I think.
No, I would go hose. I would go put it in the rain right now. I'm not throwing this chair out. It's $1,000 chair.
Which one is it?
The Herman Miller Aeron.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
I ain't throwing this shit out. I would leave the shit on it and keep it
what'd you
for
do with
this
your
price.
shorts? Did you did you throw your shorts in the sink?
They're in the washing machine.
Did you just wash them with full shit on them?
I tossed both articles of clothing that were
I just
soiled
tossed them right in.
directly in. There's only one place they can go at that point.
Yeah. Didn't want to get through that. Didn't want to throw out the Jordans. God, what a
They're
rough
beaters.
morning.
I would have thrown, like, if I were somewhere else, both of those things were
They're
going in the
gone.
garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
since I'm in my own home, they're salvageable.
Yeah, I had a buddy who did that. It was like at an Eagles game or something and just left the boxers in the stall.
Oh, I mean, the amount of times that Katie's dad's told me a story where he had to like cut his stuff off of him to throw it out is like countless. He's like, that's why a man carries a pocket knife, because you never know when you're going to need to cut your clothes off.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe that happened to you. You had me cracking up beforehand. God.
Like the consistency was the problem.
What?
Like
What was your...
if you mixed like 2 parts peanut butter, 1 part coffee,
If you if you were to give me like just to kind of recreate or reenact your facial expression when it happened, how what was your
I
response?
assume it was push,
Yeah.
uh, shock, terror, fear. I mean, the first moment, it's the hand just immediately goes to the backside. Like, was that it? Like, that felt different. And then it was just like, that was different.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk baseball. Uh, Everyone who's done that before has like stood up and pushed their pants up against their ass to see how it feels. And you're just hoping that there's no sensation.
Oh, it was, there could not have been more sensation. I felt
Just
like I
lost.
sat in a pie.
We probably just lost all our viewers. All right. Hey, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel.
Promo code sharp. Gets you a six
Sat
pack of Hanes.
in a pile. In a pile. I can imagine the devastating thought process that goes through that. Anyway, we got a handful of games today. Not a bad slate. We got five games. Not bad for an early slate. I ask you this every time when we start these shows, especially when they're short like this. From a pitching perspective, how do you grade this one out? We're talking 1 to 10, good to bad. Luis Heel, Joe Ryan, Yusei Kikuchi, Joey Estes. I mean, that's not saying much, but it's against the White Sox. So, because personally, I'd say pretty decent for a 5-game slate.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan obviously looks good. Kikuchi looks really good. Luis Heel looks like probably the best combination of upside and price for today. I think Joey Estes does look really nice as like a potential value option. You also have Lively and Assad pulling a little bit of ownership. But for a 5-game slate, there's a lot better pitching on here than you would normally expect.
I think so
Unfortunately, I'm
too.
not. I just want to put this out there too. I'm not playing it. I got to hop in the car after this with the 3 o'clock game and the 4 o'clock game. I can't guarantee that I'm going to have everything ready to go. So we are just getting analysis today and then probably building some lineups.
And also we've talked about it, but the late scratches this year have been pretty wild. Like we've seen a lot of late scratches on games that we didn't
Dude,
see last year.
I mean, last night's was real rough.
It just keeps happening. It just keeps going. So we'll see.
You don't normally see the really good starting pitcher scratched 4 minutes before lock like we got last night. That one was
the Grayson one, yeah.
Yeah, I just ran out of time trying to scramble to get more Toronto. My first priority was get Grayson out, which I swapped all of my, and I would imagine most people did this too. I swapped all of my Grayson shares directly to almost a no-hitter. I switched everything to Fromber, which would have been helpful if he could have finished that bitch out.
Yeah. Man, Pablo Lopez. I may have to call it quits on that fella.
That one didn't go the way that the data was expecting. I mean, like a 6-run total, 10 runs or whatever it ended up being isn't crazy, but
it's not just
played
our
out
data
differently.
though. It's the fact that like at $8,000 when your opponent has a 3-run implied total and there's 20-mile-per-hour winds blowing in at Wrigley, it's just objectively a good spot and it didn't pay
Yeah.
off,
No, it did not.
People saying Josh Downs went down with an injury. That sucks. But I have a ton of Mitchell in best ball, so that's good. All right, let's get into it. And by the way, Muhammad said, love the new single lineup generator. Awesome, man. I love a single lineup simulator.
So do we.
Yeah, we do too. We're going to use it today. And we had somebody else earlier in the show mention the same thing. So that stuff, I mean, we're really happy about that, man. We wanted to help. We wanted to make something for you guys that we could use. Yeah, Randy Schwartz just used the single lineup simulator for the first time. It's awesome! Exclamation point. Great stuff. And Peter, congrats. Won the 25-cent late night last night and 4th in the mini max. Congrats, Peter. He's our Phoebe Cates guy.
Bibby.
All right.
Bibby time.
So let's do it. Talk pitching first, talk stacks, build out some lineups in the single lineup sim. Today's the last day for the 25% off sale on the week or the month. So you want the data package with the single lineup sim in it. You want the full out max package, also has that, but has the sim for, you max enter and max enters and all that. We'll talk about it a little bit more later, but we'll get into the stuff now. 25% off. Links in the description. It's in the chat. Any package you want, data or Sims package, 25% off. It's a great deal. Today's the last day. So you want to check that tool out. Best time to do it is right now. I don't think we'll do another MLB promo, especially with the season
No.
winding down. Yeah.
No shot.
Louis,
programming note for everybody. Friday, the strategy show is not going to be at 11 a.m. We are moving it up an hour to 10 a.m. So we're going an hour early on Friday to make all of our lives a little bit easier. We have some travel to do, myself and Laffy. So I got to go pick him up after the show. So we're going to go an hour early to make our lives easier. So Friday, 10 a.m. strategy show, not 11.
Yes, sir. 10 a.m. should be easy enough. That's the time I'm used to doing anyway. So, yeah, remember that.
I wish it were always 10 a.m.
Me too. We'll remind you guys tomorrow as well. Louis Hill, though, we talked about him yesterday being in a similar conversation when you had other good pitchers on the slate. I don't see how on this slate now you're talking about a 5-gamer where he's also $1,400 less expensive than Joe Ryan, that he's not going to be a more than adequate option here. It looks like there's some potential rain, but nothing even close to what we had yesterday. I'm not too worried about this spot. Louis Hill looks very good at sub 9K against an Angels team that is very bad. You know, you look at the active roster against right-handed pitching, they're bad.
They're very bad. They're very bad. I mean, their run total looks rough here. That's like the fact that he's 8,900 in this spot. This is not the Angels lineup of old. It's apparently they're not as good of a team when Trout and Ohtani aren't in it.
Yeah, you don't say. Even Renifo.
Yeah. Like
I'm not saying he's great, but that's just another body that's not there.
So last I looked for us, we had Luis Hill at 19.5, and we had Joe Ryan at 18.5. I'm a little bit higher on both of those guys, and I have them with the same projection. I actually have them both at 21 for today, and I feel pretty good about that. But I think Luis Hill is just the guy that you got to get to.
So do I. Jordan, how much are we getting to in the Sims of him? Sort by go ahead. So essentially this, 40, basically tied with Joey Estes, which I don't think is crazy at all. And we'll get to that.
No, I don't either.
The highest exposed. Go ahead.
By the way, shout out White Sox.
Snap the streak.
5-1. Picked up the dub.
And I like that A stack yesterday too. Yeah. Yeah, they snapped it. So now they're just tied for the longest losing streak, right? They don't own, they're not single-handedly owning it, I think.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Anyway, Angels active roster bottom 3 WRC plus. They are 28th in WRC plus versus righties. They're tied with Colorado and the Rays. 134 ISO, 297 team WOBA, and the K rate is another thing. Their strikeout rate is now from what we saw earlier in the year a little bit different. Now it's middle of the road. It's middle of the league. It was lower. That was kind of the one dig on them. It's middle of the road. So not the best K matchup, but when you're talking about a price point as low as this right now, I don't really see how you get away from that. How much Joe Ryan are you getting to though? Because it's not the worst matchup. We talked about it. It's literally a middle of the road matchup across the board. We said it yesterday, but he's very expensive, by far the most expensive pitcher on the slate.
Yeah, my anticipation would be that I would have a lot, just because of how highly I have Joe Ryan and Luis Hill projected relative to everybody else. And I have their implied ownership both north of 50. My expectation is that they would be making up a lot of my exposure. I haven't run any sims or anything. I guess I could run a test sim just to check this out right now. It'll take a couple minutes. But as I look at it, when I've done this sim, I expect Joe Ryan and Luis Hill to be pulling most of my ownership.
So I have it right here. Ran a sim over at stochastic.com. And I have 26% Joe Ryan. I'm not surprised that I don't have a ton of him. I have 48% Joey Estes against the White Sox. I have 37% Louis Heel. Again, and I'm running this just factory settings, unadulterated, no adjustments
Right.
right now. I will, but right now I'm not. Javier Assad, I have 26%. Joe Ryan, 26%. I do have 19% Ben Lively, 17% Kikuchi, but that's just because this is a small slate. So
Right.
Estes and Heel, and then Assad and Ryan are in that like tier 2, 25, 26% range.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start mine off right now and get an idea of where I stand.
I mean, ultimately, I look at somebody like Estes today, right? And I say, all right, well, the guy's not great, but it's a good park for pitching. He's $7,200. The White Sox got that win yesterday, which, great. But Estes has also put together some very strong games. And that's what intrigues me about guys like this, where he's a mixed bag, but then you go out there and you get really strong performances. Like last time against the Dodgers, 23 DraftKings points. Against the Angels earlier in the year, in July, complete game shutout for Joey Estes. The game before that, 5 2/3, 2 earned, 8 strikeouts. Against Seattle, 5 Ks, 6 1/3, 1 hit, scoreless innings. And against Seattle earlier, 5 1-run innings. Point is, he has done well, like not every time, but against bad teams. He's done pretty well against bad teams.
Well, he's getting a bad one today.
Yeah. Yeah. I will look at the implied total for the White Sox.
They're so bad, dude. They're so
But
bad. Yeah, I have it at 4.
right. I saw 3.9, but that's still low.
Yeah, I mean, especially for a 5-gamer where like that almost carries a little bit more weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Estes looks pretty good today. What's the money line on that?
63% to the A's, so I'm not entirely sure. I don't have it in front of me.
They're pretty big favorites. They have a 5-1.
Minus 190 is what I
Pretty big
grabbed earlier.
favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you want to talk about splits being, definitively noticeable for certain guys. Joey Estes at home, 2.25 ERA,
Okay.
3-0 in 6 starts. He's not a big strikeout guy, but look, are you surprised that he's pitched much better at the Coliseum? I'm not at all.
No, you shouldn't be. If you are, that's probably on you.
Yeah. Right. 20% ownership to Estes. I thought he'd be getting more, honestly.
Well, I'll know what I'm gonna have shortly.
What do you think of guys like Davis Martin?
I mean, he's better than Urena. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's kind of just damning him with faint praise there, but it gets kind of bleak at the bottom. Martin's definitely ahead of Urena. I'm guessing I probably end up using Javier Assad as my like pseudo floor. I could very well be wrong. I'm wrong a lot, but
That's what
it
I'm
feels
looking at right now.
it feels like you don't go any lower than Assad. Like I'll probably have a couple shares of Davis Martin,
It's a
but I think
short
you
slate.
like if you're only making a couple lineups, I think you draw the line at Assad.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much where I'm drawing it. Like I have 10% Davis Martin. I have basically no Jose Urena. Basically no Davis Daniel. So I have a little bit of Davis Martin.
Okay.
Probably just because there's strikeouts in that lineup. But it's really Estes, Heel, Assad, and Joe Ryan. Those are really the guys right now that I'm getting in that order. Estes and Heel, and then Assad and Ryan grouped together. I'm okay with that. I really am.
Yeah.
I mean, the spot for Kikuchi isn't bad. Made his debut with the Astros last time out. Got off to a bit of a rough start, but ended up going 5 2/3 with 11 strikeouts. That was against the Tampa Bay team that I think you and I have, talked about this like to no end recently. But that Tampa Bay team is striking out a lot lately. Whereas the Texas Rangers just aren't that team. They
No.
strike out 21% against lefties, which is, kind of middle of the road. But it's still a way more difficult matchup.
It is. And I think that's why you're seeing Kikuchi like really not be able to participate in the same way as Ryan and Luis Heel from an ownership perspective, because he still looks really good at 9,200. Like if we're talking about who the third best pitcher is overall today, it is pretty clearly Kikuchi, but you got to pay 9,200 for it. So it makes it easier to get to someone like Joey Estes, even though these guys have basically very comparable ownership. Massive upside for Kikuchi. The floor for Joe Ryan and Luis Hill is just so much higher. 3.4 run implied total for the Cubs, 3.4 run implied total for the Angels, 4.5 for the Rangers. So like Kikuchi, oh Jesus, I almost knocked over my coffee. You just naturally, that'll be the second time brown water's all over this office. You just look at Kikuchi and you just naturally have to discount him.
You look at our projections have Luis Heel north of 19 DraftKings points. They have Joe Ryan at 18.4. And then Kikuchi at 15.8 and Estes at 15.2.
Yeah,
and
I'm like
Javier
a point
Asada
ahead of
14.5.
everything we have. Like same ratio. Like I have it 21, and then I have Kikuchi a point ahead of Estes at around 17, 16.
I'll say this much though. Kikuchi's total earned runs prop is 2.5, juiced to the under. His strikeouts prop is 6.5, juiced to the under as well.
Okay.
But his outs prop is at 16.5, really just no juice there. Those all look good. The problem is the $9,200. That's where you run. That's where you start to run into some issues, because my guess is Luis Heel has just better props everywhere.
Has to. I'm pulling him up on FanDuel right now. So Luis Heel strikeout prop 6.5 juice to the under.
Wow, it's actually the exact same as Kikuchi, plus 110.
Let's see. I have Luis Heel in for 5 2/3. So I've Luis Heel going a little bit longer than Kikuchi. Do you have Kikuchi's line still up?
Which one?
Do you have the alt strikeout lineup?
I was on Odd Shopper. I didn't have the alt strikeout line though.
All right, I got it. So I have Luis Heel's alt line and I have Kikuchi's alt line. I'm curious to see what their like ceiling game alt line looks like. So you want to say 9 strikeouts?
For who? Both of them?
Either one. 9 is plus 430 for Kikuchi. It is plus 430 for Luis Heel.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah.
And they're basically the same price.
Yeah. What you're seeing in the difference in their projection is how much runs are worth for you.
Exactly. Because Luis Heel's earned run prop is lower.
Yeah.
For sure. But it does make
Luis Heel is more likely to walk people than Kikuchi.
Yep. Makes Kikuchi look a little bit more interesting though. Especially given that big gap in ownership.
Really yeah, that becomes the interesting part. Using Kikuchi over one of Ryan and Heel.
We can try it too. We can try it on the
I think we'll see big dividends if we build a lineup with Ryan and Heel, and then we swap Heel to Kikuchi.
Yeah, we'll try that. We'll definitely try that. Okay. Yeah, we'll give that a go. Any other pitching we want to get into here? I think there are a few guys we don't really need to discuss at length. Davis Martin, you might get trace amounts of just because it's a decent enough matchup, but don't ignore Oakland still has a 5+ implied total. Davis Daniel against the Yankees. That is a dreadful spot for Davis Daniel. Really tough. My guess is because here the high is going to be like 70 today, which is weird in August. I would assume it's something similar in New York. Yeah, 72. So not, that's basically just neutral weather. I don't care about that one way or the other. Jose
Two
Urena,
guys named Davis going today. That's interesting.
Yeah,
You're going to go with the Davis combination.
Yeah, that should play well. And then
Probably not going to bathe you in glory.
You were bathed in something earlier. Brandon Pfaadt against Cleveland is another spot where like he's good, but the strikeout upside there is really restricted.
Every time I look at him and load my stuff, I'm like, oh, why isn't his strikeout thing higher? Then I look at it and it's like, oh, he just doesn't get them, even though in my mind he does.
Right. You know what his K prop is today?
4.5.
3.5.
Juice to the over.
Minus 118.
Oh, okay.
Like that's nothing. That's pretty neutral from a prop perspective, right?
Quite low.
Yeah. Like the
Quite
unders
low.
at minus 105, the overs at minus 118. So overall, it's a decent looking spot, but you just don't like give me Kikuchi there all day over Brandon Pfaadt at 20. The ownership,
Absolutely.
right? Not even the ownership's not that much different on a 5-game, 11% to 20% or 20. It's not that much of a difference. So yeah, I mean, Heel, Ryan, Kikuchi, Estes, Javier Assad. I like all of them. I don't even mind Javier Assad today. I don't love him. Don't get me wrong. Don't love him, but I think it's 7,100 from a run prevention standpoint. He's a good enough pitcher at that salary to not be terrible. Also, it's not like he can't get some strikeouts. He's got a good handful of like 6-7 strikeout games. I don't hate him.
Well, I feel like I have my process pretty dialed in now. I have my exposures after running my sim. 86% Luis Heel, 72% Joe Ryan, 14% Kikuchi, 16% Estes, 12% Javier Assad. I do not have Brandon Pfaadt, Daniel, Lively, Urena, Martin.
Basically what we've been saying.
Yep.
Right?
Now, personally, I would like to have a little bit more Kikuchi, but other than that, I got what I expected to get.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh boy. I think the clear-cut stack to get today out of my data is fun.
Who is it?
That would be the White Sox. But I love it on paper.
On paper? How does it
Yeah,
look?
I mean, you've got Joey Estes getting, 20% ownership, so you're getting that leverage across the field in this particular situation. Is Estes is solid, but like there's a reason he's 7,200. Like this isn't a guy that you're like super worried about. They're 7th in top stack, 1st in top value. These guys are free. 4,400 for Lubob, and then everybody else is 3,200 or below. 7 of the 9 guys are sub 3K. And they're not like, are they pulling some ownership? Yeah, but if you're trying to roster Joe Ryan and Luis Heel, the White Sox are a perfect pairing.
You are not wrong. And our tools bear that out as well. If you go to the top stack tool on Stochastic, right?
But don't go there. Just go to KJ, who thinks you shouldn't roster the White Sox because they're the White Sox. That's how this works.
Yeah, it's not. Understandably, like I get where that initial kind of knee-jerk response comes from. They stink.
Yeah.
They just lost 21 straight games. But they still have an 8% top stack probability. That's basically the same as Texas, Minnesota, Arizona today, Cleveland, higher than Cleveland.
Oh, that must be a bug. It should be 0, right?
That's exactly
0% top stack.
These teams stink, but if you're trying to differentiate yourself, they have the highest leverage score in our tools. They have the 3rd highest stack score behind Houston and Oakland. Yeah, they're an interesting team. Look, we all know they stink, and the likelihood that they don't end up being the top stack is pretty high. But remember, the likelihood that Oakland or Houston ends up not being the top stack is like 85% today. Don't forget that. Like even the best teams on these slates still have a very low probability of being the reason you win a tournament. Also, just less people playing teams like this. But I'm willing to try it out. And by the way, guys, if you're, like I said, last day of the 25% off sale, this is it. Probably the last MLB promo we run all year, but there's still a lot of baseball left. You still have an entire month before the NFL season starts. So here's your perfect opportunity. Just take 25% off the month and then If you want to re-up, go for it. If not, like, all right, it's football season. That's okay. We made some money and we're on our way. Or even a week. The data or Sims package. You want to do a Sims package? You get everything on the site. Even with the data, though, you get the Sims. You just can't run as many lineups in the contest generator, which you're not going to care about if you guys are playing single entry or 3-max. You also get the single lineup simulator. You get the top stacks tool, top pitchers tool, ownership projections. I personally think, Josh, like I had considered, hey, should we just sell the single lineup sim a la carte? But then I'm thinking, like, you know what though? If I'm using this, I want to be using the top stacks tool, ownership, top pitchers as companion pieces to that, like in conjunction with it. I
Yeah.
want all of them together. So it does make sense, but link in the description for that and in chat. I think this is kind of the best way to figure out stacks today. Let's build one out.
I couldn't be more in. You want to build a
Okay.
White Sox stack?
Yeah, let's do it. And for what it's worth, I forgot the Yankees, but Yankees highest top stack odds on our tools. Houston, then Oakland. Then it kind of falls off a cliff where the reason you mentioned the White Sox gets more interesting. Texas, Minnesota, Arizona, White Sox, Cleveland are all in the exact same bucket, 1% of each other. And then you've got the Angels against Heel, Chicago against Joe Ryan. They just don't look good. But it's 3 and then 5.
Yeah.
And then LA and Chicago.
I'm excited to look in the post contest sim after this, like tomorrow, and see all of the best players in the world and how they were so stupid for 5-man stacking the White Sox. It's going to be great.
White Sox lineup just came out, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is it what we were? Baldwin, Lubob, Vaughn, Benintendi, Sosa, Sheets, Lopez, Robinson. I had Corey Lee and Fletcher.
Okay, but not a huge difference.
No. 2 changes to 8, 9.
All right, let's build something here. And if you
Let's do it.
guys have any lineups that you want run, I tell you every time, if you're in Discord or you're watching this on YouTube, just throw us in or throw it in chat and we'll happily run that for you.
You want to build White Sox? You want to go Joe Ryan, Luis Heel, and get a 5-man Sox stack in there? See what it looks like?
Yeah, I kind of want to see if we can do the 5-man Sox with a 3-man Yankee stack.
Let's do it. So Lubob
be-
obviously
okay.
going straight in.
Correct.
There's no way you're building a White Sox stack without their only good player.
Correct. Hold on, let me get into early slate here. Do we want to do large field or small? I think we just do large field, right? Because
Yeah, I did large in 25.
There aren't a lot of good small field contests for early slates anyway. So
I got Lubob and Benintendi. That covers 2 outfield spots. Feels like you should get Vargas to hit 3rd, or it to be in the 3 hole, actually. Sorry, at 3rd. I'm dumb. I can't talk.
Leading off.
Yeah. I guess, like, I don't really want to go to Riley Baldwin because there's just no power there. Not that Benintendi has it, but
I think Vaughn looks pretty interesting.
I think Sosa at 2nd might be the better option. Then we could start thinking about what we want to swap out for Yankees potentially. You said Vaughn?
Well, here's the thing, though. This is what I'm kind of thinking, right? Because Vaughn at first base.
I've got an idea.
Let's no do it in reverse. There's no good Yankee bats at first.
What 3 Yankee bats do you want?
Well, I mean, hold on. Do we not have the lineup yet?
For the Yanks?
Yeah. Do we or do
no?
We not? I only asked because this is a double header, and I worry that we're just gonna have to go off of the projected lineup here.
Yeah, that's all we can do. I mean, we want Judge, right? Like that's
well, the 100%.
What we're saying.
What I'm saying is, just pay attention. This scares me a little bit because they mix and match lineups for these double headers. But yes, Judge. Let's assume that he's in. Let's assume that he's in the lineup.
I'm gonna grab Judge, Wells, because that covers catcher, and I think that's a good pull in this case. And I don't think,
and he won't start both games, so let's just pay attention to that.
You want to do Volpe? Get a shortstop?
Yeah. Batting 6th. Yeah, I think that's got to be the move.
So I have one built right now. Ryan, Luis Heel, 5-man White Sox, 3-man Yankees, leaves 1,900 on the table right now because there's no other way, like, which makes me think that we might be able to upgrade and move something around
Did
somewhere
you not
else.
put Vaughn in, or did you?
I did put Vaughn in. It's
3,300.
Vaughn, Sosa, Vargas, Lubob, Benintendi. So as of right now, I'm running it with 1,900. All right, so it is neutral. 0.3% is what I got with $1,900 in salary left over. So we have a lot of ways that we could adjust this and upgrade this lineup. I think there's a natural spot to do it too.
Oh, we have the lineup. Thank you, Jordan. Wells is in. Judge is in. Volpe's in. And that's the 3, 4, and 6. All right,
Okay.
cool. So they're all in.
I want to make it a 4-3-1. Since it's a 5-gamer, I don't necessarily mind all that much going
Very
that
much
big.
okay with that.
And I'm taking
position?
if you take Benintendi out, you have 4,100 for any outfielder.
Who do we have at second?
Lennon Sosa.
God, man, these guys are so cheap.
Well, yeah, we're not going to name cool dudes on the White Sox. I can promise you that. But for a $4,100 any team outfielder, best option that I think you can get to, there is kind of a chasm there, but Lawrence Butler.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
I didn't think that you would.
Lawrence
So
Butler projects really
if I
well
add
today.
Butler, then we have $300 left over.
Okay.
We're up to 15% ROI. And now I'm going to make one last change because this is what I've been waiting for. We have $300 left over in that lineup. Correct?
Yeah, you want to move Luis Heel.
We're going to take out Luis
Kikuchi?
Heel and we're going to turn that into Kikuchi.
And zero it out.
Yep. Do we get the jump is what
I think
I'm hoping this goes to like 25 or 30.
I think it's going to go down.
Down from 15. Okay.
Just because there's a big projection difference between Kikuchi and Heel.
22 is what I got.
Went up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think there's another natural way to upgrade this lineup even more.
What's that?
Oh, I didn't mean I had it. I just meant that it is in my brain.
I want to try a 5-man Yankee stack and see what happens here. I want to try
Let's
a
do it.
5-man Yankees and see, because I know they're going to be popular, but this is one of those teams that the ceiling on this team tonight is insane. So we have the 3, 4, and 6 right now.
So that is Judge, Wells,
and Volpe.
And Volpe.
Then you have an expensive Soto. Right, you have a very expensive Soto.
I think Soto's got to be the guy, right?
Yeah, can we do it? Can we make it work?
I think so.
That gives us 4.
The real question to me is, did you want it? Would you rather have Soto, Chisholm, or both?
Can we do? Right now I'm plugging in Luis Heel and Joey Estes just to see what happens here. Without Chisholm, we have 3,300 per player. Like, what I'm more interested in is the 5-3 Yankees White Sox stack going to look better than a 5-3 White Sox Yankees stack?
So I put Chisholm in at 3rd, and that gives you 26, basically 2,700 for the spot, basically 27, 27, 26 for 1st, 2nd, and outfield. So you can get Andrew Vaughn at 1st. You can get Riley Baldwin if you want to. Oh, actually, we have, well, or Brooks Baldwin, whatever. That leaves you 2,500 for an outfielder. Unfortunately, you can't get Vargas. You have to get Benintendi at that point.
Heel and Estes. See, I think this is probably negative sim ROI because it's just mega chalk. What do you think?
I'm running it now. -16.
Yep. I figured so. So you would just need to do something different, maybe more bottom of the Yankees order or something like that.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
swap
turn.
pitching.
I'm gonna turn Estes. Yeah, I'm gonna turn Estes into Javier Assad. I think that'll bring it up quite a bit.
I don't.
I mean, you're cutting. Oh wait, he's on Assad's own too. My bad.
Yeah.
I was looking at my implied ownership instead of the. Yeah, it's the same. I was looking at my implied ownership, which was like 9% lower than Estes, and I was
Right.
like, oh, that'll be a good trade off.
Don't even worry about it. We ran it
Doesn't
already.
matter. It's dead.
Yeah.
I just there's if you're gonna go. I think if you're gonna go White Sox, you have to go full bore.
Pretty much. Also, you could have gone Javier Assad and Miguel Vargas over Estes and Benintendi. That's another option. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but that's a possibility. That actually zeroes you out, Josh.
This is so much fun to do.
I know.
Do you
You
think
know,
we could build a good Cubs or Angels stack?
oh, dude, I just run that with the swap from a
I already deleted it, so I'll trust you.
32%.
Swapping what to what?
Swapping Estes to Assad and Benintendi to Vargas.
Got you.
32%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's how bad Benintendi is.
I know. That looks good.
Yeah.
Let's take one from chat here. If you guys, what do you want to see? Give us a
Ice Through just gave us one. Justin H. Estes
okay.
Heel.
Don't even read it. Let Jordan plug that in from chat, and then you and I. If you guys let us know, do you want to see? Give us give us a few teams, and we'll see if we can stack them up together.
I know you said don't read this, but I'm reading it out for the people that are listening and not watching on the screen. Estes and Heel, Heim, Nate Lowe, Marte, Jazz Chisholm in at third. Perdomo, Soto, Garcia, Grossman. I'm just curious if I beat Jordan. Oh, I did by a mile. Too fast, too furious. All right, Justin H. ROI on that lineup that I got. Go back to the drawing board, sir.
What was it?
Ooh, it was
What
way
was
worse
it?
when I did it. Negative 18.
We had a request to do a Houston and Texas stack.
Okay, like create one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Seeing some other ones here. So Tech said anything with Kikuchi. Yeah, we can definitely build one with Kikuchi for sure.
Okay, so the request was what two teams?
Houston and Texas.
Well, we can't do that one with Kikuchi.
We cannot. Does look semi-interesting though, just because Texas looks okay. I mean, really the best leverage stack is going to be the White Sox, whether it feels good, whether you like it or not.
It is.
I want to
It
go
very.
back to it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it really, really is.
I kind of want to go back to an Oakland stack today too.
Let's do it. Let's build an Oakland stack right now.
Like, I mean, they sucked yesterday.
Well,
In a
they're
good
getting some
spot.
ownership, so this is going to be a spot where we're going to want to get a little different with one of the pitchers and probably our 3-man.
Yep. And we just got their lineup. Butler, Andahar, Blade, Rooker, McCann batting fifth today, Josh.
No
So that
Langoliers
is
then?
right, but you would think in that instance that McCann, I didn't know if he'd be slotted into the 5 hole. Right. No Langoliers. Toro, Nevin, Geloff, and what is it? Hernandez.
Oh wow, this is like 3 different dudes or 4 different
This is
dudes.
definitely different. Definitely different. So we might not even make sense to do an Oakland one right now, honestly.
No,
Because,
we need the update of data first.
yep.
Let's try to do a Rangers Astros game stack.
You want to try it?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Oh, and by the way, our sponsor today, Underdog Fantasy, 50% match up to $250 instantly goes into your account. So, in the event that you're somehow not there yet, not doing the daily drafts, the pick 'em up to 20x your entries, doing the best ball, $20 million in prizes, all of that stuff. Simplest, easiest, best way, most profitable way out of the gate to get in. Use that link in the description or in chat. Get you that match up to $250 instantly. No drip bonus, none of that, right into your account. Underdog Fantasy, sponsor of the MLB Live Before Lock show. All right, you want to try Houston and Texas?
Yeah, why not?
All right, let's do it. Where do you want to start?
That's a great question.
And both teams do have respectable totals today.
I just tried putting in Diaz, Altuve, Bregman, and Alvarez. And now I'm looking for 4 dudes from Texas that I think can fit. I'm looking at a 4-4.
Sure, sure. Bregman, Diaz, not crazy priced. Alvarez, expensive, but not insane. Just thinking here, like if I were to put in Heel, and you can't do Kikuchi in this spot. Just placeholder Heel and Estison, that gives us 3,500 per player. Nate Lowe's
boy.
$3,400 at batting sixth.
This lineup is the one that I just built right now is going to be some real next level dog shit. I'm serious. I built a 4-4 with basically like every hitter that I could want. Who do you think my 2 pitchers are?
Is it one of the Davises?
It's Davis Martin, Ben Lively.
How'd that turn out?
I clicked the button. 37% ROI.
Really?
Yeah. Diaz, Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez, Nate Lowe, Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Wyatt Langford. 4-4 Rangers Astros game stack with Martin and Lively's 37%.
All right, not terrible.
No,
Pretty good, actually.
not bad for a first draft.
I could sit here and just run these lineups all day. So,
Me too.
yeah. Not bad for first draft. You're right. I got a 9% ROI on mine. It was a 4-3-1 with Heel and Estes, and then Diaz, Nate Lau. Which one's Lau and Lowe?
It's Nate Lowe, Brandon Lau.
Brandon Lau. Yeah, Nate Lowe, Altuve, Bregman, Brooks Baldwin, Jordan Alvarez, and Adolis Garcia. 9%. Nothing crazy, nothing great. But
I swapped Lively to Estes just to see if it leaves 500, but it dropped down to 25%. So if you're looking for a Ben Lively, Davis Martin lineup, boy, do I have something for you guys.
Yeah, these are the best one we built yet was 5-3 Yankees, White Sox.
Yeah, I don't know how we were able to do that. I figured it was just going to come up at negative 100%.
And yet it didn't.
No, surprising. Weird how data works.
See if we got anything else from chat before we get out of here.
Yeah. We've kind of hit on all the teams that like I am stacking. Like I don't really have like I'm way under on the Guardians, way under on the Diamondbacks, don't have the Cubs, way under on the Twins, don't have much of the Angels. I mean, I do find like mild interest in the Angels just because of the Luis Heel ownership, but that's a different story for a different day.
We did have a question about Ben Lively too. Yeah, it's
apparently he's awesome.
Honestly, I like Ben Lively more than I like Brandon Pfaadt.
So do I.
You know, I would still put him behind those other 5 that we talked about, but he would be next in line for me. Heel, Ryan, Kikuchi, Estes, Assad. Ben Lively, I actually think Ben Lively's probably closer to Assad and Estes than ownership would suggest. Like, I think he's right there with them.
I'm building a 5-man Angels right now.
Also, we got one from Adam's headset. I'm running that in there. Jordan, when you see these, just start plugging them in. I'll plug this one in though. Naylor and Naylor plus Simeon. So we're going with a what? Cleveland, Texas stack. Interesting. Simeon,
Okay.
Seager. I want chat to give us one that just pops. It'd be awesome.
That would be the most fun thing that we could do.
All right, I got this one running right now.
I'm putting mine together right now too.
So he gave me a 5-3 Texas Cleveland with Estes and Lewis Heel.
All
Interesting.
right, do you want, I got one for you too. I haven't clicked run yet, but I used all my salary. 5-man Angels, Lede, Lawrence Butler, Altuve one off at second with Ryan and Kikuchi.
Okay.
I don't know if we could pull the Angels out of the ass.
Whoa,
end of
hold
all
on,
of
hold on, hold on, hold on.
What'd you hit?
Adam, yeah, he 43%, Adam. That's the best one yet.
I only got 7% on my Angels stack.
Nice work, dude. That's okay. Heavily
Adam's
positively
headset, good
sim
shit.
lineup. Wow. Let's see where that ranks among my lineups that I built. It's like a top 30 out of 150. That's good. Nice work.
Nice. Good stuff.
All right, we got a couple more.
Okay.
We got a couple more. And by the way, guys, when just so you know, when we sim this stuff, a lot of time, want you to keep in mind, we're running this for large fields. So like, still most of the time when you're running these, the chances like, okay, so this one, Adam, 21% cash rate. So like, this is one of those lineups that most of the time, like the larger isn't going to cash, but when it does, put you in a great spot. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind when we're running some of these lineups. Like they could have a really high simmed ROI, but if you're playing them in tournaments, I mean, you're better at explaining this stuff than I am. It's just the likelihood that something like that cashes is almost irrelevant. You're looking for it to have a chance to win and not be a popular combination.
Well, I mean, remember it like this, everybody. Every one of these contests pay out 20% of the places. Like if you have an average lineup, you're expecting to cash 20% of the time. You have a 1 in 5, whatever lineup you make, if you're just putting that into the large field contest, if you just think everything is average all the time, you have a 1 in 5 chance of simply being in the money.
Yeah, right. I'm running a couple more for the people here before we can
Odd Shopper live after this, by the way. 1 o'clock.
Be sure to hang out. Can you run the one from Einsteinium?
I see it. Yeah, I got it. Lively Assad. Not confident on this one.
No.
Diaz, Brown, Geloff. No. Came from Einsteinium.
Why? What's wrong with Einsteinium?
Nothing. I'm just fucking around. I feel like I just built this lineup.
This is interesting too. I got
Judge, Jordan, Andor.
What did Wookie give me?
All right, Einsteinium, I've got your lineup running right now. $300 left over. Say 1, 2, 3, 4-man Astros, 3-man A's. Whoo! 4-man Astros, 3-man A's, one off Aaron Judge, 54%.
To the positive?
Yeah.
Damn,
28.5% cash rate, 2.2% top 10 percentage. You want to know what I'm seeing after all of running these things?
What's that?
The easiest path, and I want everybody to think about what I'm about to say. The easiest path to these 20, 30, 40, 50% ROI lineups seem to take you clear away from Joe Ryan and Luis Heel.
Huh.
This is Assad Lively. You know, I went through that one that I just built out before with two guys from the ass end. It seems like the real key to unlocking some of these higher ROI lineups today is the abandonment of the two chalk pitchers.
Very interesting.
It is.
And you might be right. Wookie, I ran that for you, and that was -11. I'm running it again for you with Heel over Brandon Pfaadt. -3. I can run it again with Kikuchi. Anything else you want to dig into here before we go?
I think we've hit it. Astros and A's are pulling the most ownership. I think both of those things make a lot of sense. And if we haven't said it yet, I find the White Sox as a stack today to be the most interesting team you can get to.
Yep. I like it. Yeah, by the way, guys, if you see one from chat that's positively simmed, there's no reason to run it with somebody else. Like what I'm saying, you just got a bunch of people with that, and the likelihood that it hits anyway is already low.
Right.
Just throw one out there, see what we can do for you. Get the tool, 25% off last day. I think you'll love it. We love it. It's fun to use for shows too.
Hell yeah.
So tomorrow we'll be. Let me just check the time tomorrow before you guys.
Tomorrow we're gonna be at 11. There's only 3 games early. There's 3 like 12:30 games.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll probably just do the 3-game early slate start at 11. So it'll be live before lock, but at the same time we usually do. Okay. Got it. Yeah. And then Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, guys. Anyway, appreciate you hanging out. Have great rest of the day. Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you Friday. Usher you into the weekend. Peace. Oh, check out Josh, Odd Shopper Live, coming up right now, right after this. YouTube, Odd Shopper channel, and on Twitter. Peace.